What I want to ask real quick, to y'all, I don't know if any of y'all know about a connection. Is there any connection? Because I know Doc's been on Bitcoin's ass since Bitcoin began. And I told Doc, I'm getting my coins up. He's like, get your coins up. But he's like, long term, be careful, Rich. What's the connection, Doc? What's up with Epstein? Because we always talk about the CIA and Bitcoin. What's up with Epstein and Bitcoin, Doc? Come on.
I keep telling people. I remember we were at the church when I did the lecture with
Robert F. Kennedy.
Robert F. Kennedy,
Yeah, in Harlem.
Right.
Yes, I was there.
and when I told the brothers stay away from Bitcoin, and I got all kind of blowback that was ridiculous. You don't know what you're talking about, blah blah blah. I knew where Bitcoin came from. I knew who Bitcoin actually started this thing. Matter of fact, the guy who did XRP was part of the Satoshi Nakamoto. And if you
Right.
look at Satoshi Nakamoto, I did a whole webinar on Satoshi Nakamoto, if you were there, showing that it was from the Kenji and the Kenji language, Japanese or Chinese, that letters that were used in Japanese in Japanese languaging that had to do with intelligence and foundation. And you could tell that Satoshi Nakamoto actually meant intelligence or from intelligence. So they were hiding uh, the factors about that. And now we know that Bitcoin was actually set up to actually stop World War III. That was number one. It helped to ease and to allow for the creation of an underground system of finance where those who were in trafficking, those who were in organ transports and organ marketing,
Augustine.
yes, all of them had an underground market, but they could not use the fiat because it was traced.
Mm.
And so they created the Bitcoin as a means to cover and to give validation to its worth in order to cover to have the dark market, we don't call it black market, but the darker web and the dark market to actually have a financial structure for human trafficking. What came from that was speculation. The speculation of what it is that they said it would do, it failed because of the electrical prices, what it costs to actually create a coin. I told you that the entire power structure of Portugal is what is used to make a Bitcoin.
A lot of power. Yep.
A Bitcoin. So it was unfeasible to use that. So the guy, Schwartz, who was part of the Satoshi Nakamoto, created XRP to do what it is that they pretended that Bitcoin would do. Bitcoin, with the exposure of Epstein, don't go for Epstein and Diddy. They're going to be the poster boys for everything that went wrong. They're there to cover the tracks of the real demons behind the scenes.
Thank you.
Okay, they're not there. They have
Fact.
nothing to do with they have nothing to do with the brain thrusts behind it. He was just a negotiator and the person who were going to use what they knew. And Gensler, the one who brought the suit against XRP, everything
Yeah.
was to stop XRP. Everything was to shut it down. Now that I told people, get your money out of Bitcoin back, what 3, 4, 5 years ago, because it's going to crash. But guess what? It started climbing up, went all the way to 100,000, supposed to go up to 1 million. Never got there. Why? Because behind the scenes, you have to remember that XRP right now, brother, XRP, even though they're keeping it low for us at the retail end, behind the scenes, bankers are gobbling up millions of the XRP. And they can't keep it private for long. When that happens, if you just have 1,000, 5,000 of the XRP, which I recommend that you get now, if you just have that, you can retire, because it's going to start first with $5, $10. But since it's got to cover everything, which comes into the total financing and the cross-border payments in the amounts of quadrillions, to cover that, it can't be $1.25 per coin. It's going up to 500, 589, 1,500, and by the time 2030 hits, it's going to be $25,000 per coin, even 35, and may even go to 50,000. Because what happens is every now and then you see the market boards glitch, and then all of a sudden, for about maybe 2 to 3 minutes, you see the international market break through, and you see XRP at $35,000 per coin. And all of a sudden, it flashes out. So I suggest XRP, XLM, here I go again, 5 years ago, XRP, XLM, XDC, HBAR. These are the 4 horsemen that I said that you should have. Each one of these have a reason in the new market. These are what you call coins that have worth and purpose. And XRP for the banks, XLM will be for the retail. So I can't say any more than that. Get yours, do what you can, but leave, if you got Bitcoin, if you want to keep it as a store of value, yeah. But like gold, you can't take your gold out your pocket and try to buy anything with it. Okay?
Indeed. What from a I guess I got some of the younger hip hop heads, even though they're the elders, they Dot and Red belong to the hip hop community. What's your thoughts on, and Doc, you could chime in as well, Jay-Z being mentioned and Pusha T being mentioned in the Epstein files, being that I believe the year they mentioned was 96, and people was like, Jay just got on. They just trying to throw niggas in there. He literally just got in the rap game. So what's your thoughts on Jay and Pusha T being mentioned in there? Do you think there's some legitimacy to that?
Well, I think, first of all, 96 was the year that Jay-Z was supposed to be moving X amount of drugs.
Right.
And so you got to remember when they have these elite parties, the drug dealers there, politicians,
the
police officers, killers, traffickers. And so they all meet because it's an ecosystem of how they all going to get paid and look out for each other. So I would not put that past, if he was moving the way he said he was, that he might be, in one of those parties. However, I think he has other issues coming down the pipe because they might have threw his name in there to keep knuckle draggers arguing over some stuff. But at the same time, he might have been in those parties. Pusha T's situation was him as a handler years later. Right. And see, they have handlers that bring them girls, and so right. we got to expand our understanding of what we're talking about here. And how come Jay-Z is never caught in anything, never got a real mugshot of anything based on the weight he's claiming to move, and how everybody else went down, Jay Prince and Irv Gotti and Dame Dash, and he remained untouchable. Even his boy Diddy went down, and he had the audacity to say he didn't even notice it. He said,
Jay said, I don't even know him like that.
Said, you know what kind of, he said, I don't even, that's like me saying, I don't know Phil Valentine. I never met that.
Right. Look, the most photographed person with P. Diddy, more pictures with Jay-Z than Diddy with his mother. The most photographed person with him. I would say in hindsight, the Weinstein connection is just enough. Like, we don't even got to say anything because they're making it seem like, oh, he's with the Epstein files. My nigga, he's in the Weinstein files.
How about that?
Like, nobody wants to talk about Weinstein. He's in the Weinstein files. Like, let's talk about that. The Weinstein, they covered that up real good. but the
Yep.
Weinstein files is ridiculous. So
Where do they get into the Oprah files?
Oh,
right,
wow.
Oprah
Wow.
files
Right.
are going to be the one where you think when it's getting up the bodies on her plantation or on her
for land, right.
You know, just to get
the tunnels she has under there.
just
Yeah.
I mean, just to get spiritual real quick, or to get spooky, or whatever term people. So I know they might say spooky. Just to get spooky real quick. Um, the things we're hearing is so demonic. People are saying these people have to be possessed by something. Now, in this community, I always hear the name the archons. Who, if there's somebody possessing these people, Phil, if there's a fourth dimensional, fifth dimensional entity, who the hell is possessing these people to do the adrenochrome and the torture and the child, all this stuff that they're doing? Who's controlling these people to do these things from another realm, I guess. Y'all.
Well, they're chosen based upon a line. They have the ability to pick up on the Akasha. Remember, I told you that they were tapping into the Akasha.
Yeah.
Now, the reason why the Akasha was so important is because once they understood how the waters worked, and remember when Emoto spoke about the fact that water have memories.
Mm-hmm.
Well, the Akasha is a water.
Yep. I was talking about that earlier. Yep.
Well, I told you a long time ago that it's actually a water-based library, but it has frequencies and it also has genetic lines of people. Now, Jay-Z is everybody that you see right now that are stars
Mm-hmm.
have essentially doppelgangers from 100, 200 years ago.
Mm-hmm.
100 years ago, you might see pictures that look exactly like them. So what they're doing now, they tapped into generational lines, frequencies, DNA lines. All they have to do is to get your DNA and clock it into, they have these new, well, it isn't new actually, they have these machines that can actually clock your DNA and then find out the generational line that you belong to. And that generational line, if it was compromised back then, it can easily be compromised now. And so the lines that are chosen, and they're chosen from childhood,
Mm-hmm.
very young, and they go through the butterfly effect. And I don't mean the butterfly effect of flapping the wings. I'm talking about MK Ultra.
Mm.
And if you ever looked at the butterfly that you see on the face, that's what I'm talking about. Trauma-based mind control triggers that person's former soul imprint.
Right.
And that person just now opens up so that the specific demonic spirit necessary for that to be harboring them come in. But you have to break the auric field. You have to weaken the auric field for that entity to enter.